In our very first story, spare parts dealers at Abosi-Okai say they will resist every attempt by government to relocate them. Regional Minister Henry Kote disclosed on sister station at Dome FM this week that plans are far advanced to relocate the dealers to Afienya. According to the minister, discussions have been had with leaders of the spare parts traders, adding that Afienya is a good location due to its proximity to the Tema port. But today, the traders say unless government uses bulldozers to force them out, they are not moving.
Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Kote announced during this week that his plans of ridding the city of filth and also ridding the city of so much traffic includes moving traders here at Abosi-Okai to Afienya and Tema. And so today we are at Abosi-Okai to try and speak to some of these traders and get their thoughts on the minister's plan to relocate them to Afienya and also pick their thoughts about whether they are willing to move or what their terms and conditions are. Eti, Senator Minimo regional minister said obeso movie Abosi-Okai, obeso movie because of traffic ne and then obeso movie they call Afienya. What do you say?
Oh, my dream is some budget store bear 20 years. 5 years behind 300 million. 30,000. And it's imagine 20 years. Now you will be 20 years now, mammy. Now my mom store for France a day. And then you pay Busa Mwasem.
Right. Because but that's more can say so about traffic. There's a kind of movie.
Say you need a lot of quaho. You were inside into any lot of quaho traffic about.
Mumunjin say your movie Abosi-Okai.
Debbie, and you because you need a lot of quaho. You were inside. You need a lot of quaho. So what they are saying. The assassin Ukraine bind the Anabia Casabia, say a bind so say an assassin. Yaji and Crawford, yes, see a Danny Bina. Yes, you are high. So what they are saying. And they say, hand bear 20 years. I bind the says can it be my answer day. I don't hear the Epesi Busa, new. The Nadia Jetum say a behold.
Okay, but also what
Mr. Can say? I was a company for the DC minister, and you know, credit, and idea you be free and a free action. Now, no crown on one channel. Uncle go on crown say, and I say, in all his only PBD, and you know, correct. Nadia will be able to because you're high free crop for once you see a dano and you're high free or the idea will be able to say, oh, giant stone on alcohol baby for in the end, in
terms of say a business in Yaman, so Osha, you're moving Mukobi Afienya, you are business because I say. Afienya no bent Tema port. Ana mo so mo niam na mo nyafi port ho na ere ba.
Ya no de ense ahwe, ya no de anye no ne epe. E wo ba bia obi ti kasoa. Obi ti do burosi ho ansa no firi oba adwuma. To be free asan akọ Afienya ansa na okodi dwa na obesin akoda anya adwuma. Anti e de ye no nya adwi.
Kasoa ha ya brada ya bre ne beba besin akoda.
Yeah, opani ya fra me Kwame Donko. Na de tie ne se gidi kan no. Aha nye government land. Ena de tosu mienu nso no. Eye enhyehyeye ye ne asase ruafo no akọ obitime gye no 50 years na one asase ruafo no akọ agreement o si stores na odi rent till time 50 years no ebeso enti ebi a memfa ne say me ne obi akọ agreement 50 years matua ne compensation ama no me de si store no me so me de rent e say me so metemeka before ansana years na du ti si a mo be move yan free ha e de ekọ Afienya no say store no enya meka ana se enye den eno na mpese me busa mpanifo ana ye nyina so ya je atum se Afienya ho na o kan de enya de e be boan why because so case traffic se kumasefo nso omuyi niema omuyi no Tema port na enti eno nso no omo be ne den enti ho ne de enya de e be boan o kwan bia so medamase.
So also what do you try to pass?
My game try me what can say your friend Mutia Jekum. My game try me what can say ministers and as man can say ebia obi here kwan port be nche e wo Afienya. Some of Burkina Faso ni Mali ni Niger for so be yi niam de ko. Eti ba bia I ha ni Aboso kan Tema kwan nye den enwa because me my gym store 10 years. But 10 years, I must install rap. I feel my 4 years. Not 6 years now, Cano. I buy no. Over 4 years, and I'm a man. ɛna me de akɔkɔgye store no bi anasɛ me de akɔgye asase wɔ afienya hɔ ɔdɔma me de a ɛna me move na so mfa ma me de a ɛnya de a me kɔ na gye so me de bulldozer ne ba bɛdwie nyina afiri akɔ obi no ɔbɛkɔ ba bia.
Right, so these traders are telling me that they are not going to move, that the plans of government to move them is not something that is feasible. They say they've paid large or huge amounts of money to landowners and their shop owners, and they are not going to accept to move to Afienya as the minister plans. Reporting from Abosi Okai, Kweku Asante for Joy News.
We move from that story, and relatives of a 50-year-old woman from Antwa in the Ashanti region who needs blood at the Menchia Government Hospital say they risk losing her if she does not get access to the blood. The woman on referral from a private health facility has been in need of blood since Wednesday, but relatives say results from blood samples taken to the laboratory have not returned. The blood banks also remain closed due to the ongoing strike by the laboratory scientists. The labs at the Menchia Government Hospital remain locked as stranded patients struggle for their services. A sister of the sick woman in dire need of blood, Yanyako, says the family is in a fix as they await divine intervention. She spoke to Ohiming Terry of our health desk, who has been monitoring the impact of the strike.
Nansana ya dini ba na washo tumujo labo fo na batwen na omde ko hie man kan nra na omde bibia beba na dia besi ne so afa nra ya ba ya se o ya mukosrak o da hosa na so ya ba ya sa tese se hu ba bia e benya moja ni bia e di besi ne so nti esi ye tena hosa ma menuen awu ansa na ma sa ba start e twuma ya ba ha se me kura ni nyame anim no sika ya tua de esi no yan hwe no ano soso ama enema toba ha ama ye ya ka chen de asiese ayi to no moja na se onya moja ni bidia ene yen kan kira ni yin no kofi nko no kwa so sa ya se ntimi nka so kofi no kona sa mo aye ne a na ye ne den enti se mo bi wo ha ya sere se panyin na ani a omomo aye na omoma ye bi.
Ohiming Terry himself joins us. Ohiming, first of all, for the sake of those who may not understand this interaction because it was in Twi, what is Yanyako saying?
According to Madam Yanyako, she brought her sister, a 50-year-old woman, who was referred from a private facility at Ebrim in the Kwabre East municipality to the facility, that is the Menchia Government Hospital. But for 3 days now, first, about on the third day, that is Wednesday, the medical laboratory scientists came around. They pick blood samples with the hope that they will go and test so they can understand the compatibility of a blood that was supposed to be put on her. So they went, and then yesterday, they went back to the facility with the hope that the blood, that the samples that they took, the results would have been ready. But they were told the medical laboratory scientists were on strike. And as it stands now, she says her sister is in dire need of blood. And if they don't get the blood, the possibility of the family losing her is very high. And he appealed to the members, the striking members, especially at that point in time was when I had a conversation with the regional chairman of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists. So he appealed to him if there's something that can be done. So that is her narration.
Now, Ohiming, on this conversation you just referred to with the regional chairman of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists, what did you gather?
From Mr. Eric Kofi Edu, he thinks that there's nothing that can be done to reverse the situation once the medical laboratory scientists are already on strike. But they can't come back to say, okay, for the sake of this woman, 50-year-old woman, we are going to support her. And he suggested that the only option available now is to transfer the woman from Menchia Government Hospital, preferably to a private facility in order to save her life. We can listen to him.
I feel bad to hear her story. But I think that me feeling bad for her should also prompt the government also to resolve this matter once and for all. In fact, it is not our wish, it is not our liking that issues should get this way. If I had my own will, maybe I would have helped her out. But unfortunately, the blood bank is locked. The medical soup and the administrator have locked up the place because they feel that once the strike is also on, there's no reason for lab scientists to be around. And so there's nobody around and the offices are all locked. And so in her situation, I wish I could help. But unfortunately, nothing can really happen now. Taking her out of the hospital is an option, but unfortunately, where exactly is she taking her to? Maybe to a private facility who may have the blood to give, but to a public facility, I doubt, because the same lab scientists should be around to help them. Unfortunately, the lab scientists are not there. So maybe the only option now is for her to take her to a private hospital.
Right, Ohiming, so tell us, what else are we gathering from the various hospitals you've visited?
It's been the same precarious situation since yesterday when the members of the Medical Laboratory Scientists Association declared nationwide strike. A while ago, when I spoke to Mr. Edu, he gave me a clear picture of how the members have comported themselves and then responded positively to the call for them to go on strike. He was happy that as an association they are on course, but I must say the situation has taken a toll on patients. I spoke to several patients and the indication is that they are not happy. They are really feeling the brunt of this strike action by the Medical Laboratory Scientists Association.
Ohiming Teria, thank you very much for joining us with those updates from the Ashanti region. Now, 6 convicted prisoners who committed petty offences but could not pay their court fines have regained their freedom. This follows an intervention by the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative and OSIWA to pay the court-imposed fines at the Kumasi Central Prisons. The released inmates had served between 1 and 6 months for failing to pay fines between 320 and 900 Ghana cedis for assault and stealing. My colleague, Ohiming Teria, has more.
According to the Ghana Prison Service, the country's prisons are overcrowded by 52%. The number of the inmates admitted are double the capacity of the facilities. One of them is the Kumasi Central Prisons, built to house only 600. The facility currently accommodates over 1,800 inmates. Prison authorities say about 40% of inmates committed petty crimes and are unable to pay court fines. DSP Francis Yao Apau is the Assistant Criminal Records Officer at the Kumasi Central Prisons. He wants groups and organizations to help pay for the fines of inmates languishing in jail for petty offenses such as stealing, assault and traffic offenses.
Some prisoners with petty fines, 300, 400, 500, 600, they are all bunched up here, adding up to the number of congestion or the seriousness of the congestion in our facility. So when we get such gestures, indeed it will go a long way to ease the pressure on this facility. Averagely, those with petty offenses, they are the people that come in a lot. They constitute about 40% of the total population.
Atakwesi Nuyakon, a taxi driver, was convicted for stealing by the Bekwai Circuit Court. For failing to pay a fine of 336 Ghana cedis, he was sentenced to a 10-month imprisonment. Atakwesi, who talked about congestion at the prisons, is now a free man after the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative paid the fine.
I did 23 years. Me to a France kokori. Me ne madam fo. Ene nam na madam fo no eji obiska. To eji obiska no dwane ene o mo che me. Che fine 8.4. Me ba anyoma bebre na ma be sian ano. Is a central prison ye easy. Empa ba ko ye dampa ba ko ase empa no Your boy ni pa maku 18. Enye ize say ubetimi aten no o sole nso a unabiem. Kopim say de betinye ize na minyan mo abontin o munhwe mo yie wo ayonkofa ho. If you say namfo betim do akonso bebelem.
The Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, in collaboration with Osiwa, is paying fines of petty crime offenders. It forms part of its increasing advocacy for the decriminalization of petty offences project in Ghana, which has already paid for the court fine of 60 inmates. Officials hope the project will help decongest overcrowded prisons in the country. Anthony Sejo is the project officer for access to justice at the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative.
We believe that people who commit petty offences like hawking, like traffic offences, should not find themselves in jail. We believe there should be a non-custodial sentencing law so that some of these people will do community service or they'll do communal labor. We're doing this advocacy because our prisons are already congested with petty offenders. And then COVID happened, coronavirus happened. And we realized that coronavirus, if any of them there should be an outbreak in any of the prisons, it can easily spread because they are already overcrowded. And so with the support of Open Society Initiative for West Africa, OSIWA, we decided to write to the Ghana prisons and pay the fines of at least 60 people who are in jail. And so far, we have done for a number of prisons, Ewutu Camp, Winneba Prison, Ankafo Maximum. So we decided to come to Kumasi to come and pay for some of these offenders that we believe should not be in jail in the first place.
From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohime Interior reporting.
Now, police in the Sola Tuna Kalba district of the Savannah region have arrested a 35-year-old peasant farmer, Beyiri neighbor, for allegedly killing his 50-year-old cousin, Janet Ansaku, because she refused to marry him. Police found Janet's body in a bush near Kalba when they acted on a complaint about the incident. Acting Public Relations Officer of the Savannah Regional Police Command, Inspector Ejay Owusu said Janet was found in a prone position, lying in a pool of blood from a deep cut on her head, gas oozing out. Now, Beyiri neighbor has confessed to the crime since then. Isaac Nonya brought this story to our attention and has joined us via phone. Isaac, what more do we know about this alleged killing?
Yes, the suspect shortlisted is a pizza farmer in the area. He is the younger brother of the deceased late husband. After that, per the culture of the area, he decided or he tried marrying the deceased, who didn't agree, and that brought the friction between the two, leading to the killing of this particular woman. Now, it happened that that particular enclave, this is, according to the police commander in the area, this is the safe murder resulting relationship among the same people in the same area. Until the 2nd of last year, November last year, one Kwame died 30 years, murdered his wife who was 24 years. You know, somewhere 18th May last year, 2020, a 60-year-old Yukate Somote also murdered his wife, one Deborah Somote, 67 years. At Gando, the same area, on a similar incident. So it's a case that, or it's a menace that occurred in Stark Enclave, and the police is trying to liaise with the chief in that area to see how they can curtail the incident. Until that, we will continue to have such incidents occurring. I will speak now. The suspect has been put before the magistrate court. I we are told, the police told me that they are already in the court, and the suspect has been charged for murder.
How's Janet's family doing?
Janet's family, well, as police said, they are only looking up to the police to make sure that they get justice through the court. Until that, they believe that the victim, who was supposed to come back to the parents and remarry, couldn't do that and was trying to wait till the final rights of the late husband was performed before she would take that decision. That decision has not been taken, and now she's also gone to join the late husband.
Now, it looks like a number of these killings you were talking about, Isaac, are related to cultural issues. Is that the case?
Perfectly so. And this is why the police commander is calling for some reforms. He thinks the time has come for the chiefs and the elders of these areas, who are mostly Lobi and Brifos, to recycle or have a change of ideas in the way they carry their cultural activities. Until that, they will continue to have disagreement with the young ladies who are married to this community. And that's the only way, according to him, that they were able to change the situation and stop this violence against women in the area.
Thank you very much, Isaac, for joining us this afternoon with those updates. You're live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Daze. We've covered a number of stories so far, a lot more coming up. But Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwul is expected to appear before Parliament to answer an urgent question on government's decision to allegedly spend £15,000 an hour to charter a top-range luxury aircraft for President Akufo-Addo. This is after the ranking member on Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, filed an urgent question on Thursday, demanding full disclosure on the issue. In a statement, he questioned why the president will refuse to use the official presidential jet, which he claims is in good shape. Ranking member on Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has joined us via phone to answer a few questions on this issue. Well, we will be establishing contact with Mr. Ablakwa. When we do have him, we'll let you know. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, the Ghana Education Service, GES, is today rallying the support of parents to fully embrace the free SHS policy despite recent challenges. GES says it will address issues of inadequate space for students, but insists academic work has not been hampered by the policy. The double-track system that is set to ensure that there is more space for students through an arrangement that sees students grouped to ensure multiple use of the same facilities at different times has been heavily criticized. The GES, however, argues contact hours have been increased, aside from ensuring that thousands receive education. Dr. Kwabena Bempa Tando is Deputy Director General in charge of quality and access at the Ghana Education Service.
In the double-track semester system, the students are in school for 8 months. In the trimester system, they were in school for 8 months and 2 weeks. We have established those facts based on public records and evidence of timetables and academic calendars. Now, when we were introducing the double track, we also sat down with NACA, which is the Authority on Curriculum Delivery, Design and the application of curriculum. And we knew that in senior high school, you could increase the contact hours per day to 7 hours a day. So we increased the contact hours to 7 hours per day instead of 6 hours in our old semester. Now, 8 months, it calculated to 162 days of teaching instead of 180. Now multiply your 162 days by your 7 hours a day, and already, even though we have reduced by an insignificant 2 weeks of time, we had increased our contact hours from 1,080 in the old system to 1,134 per academic year for any student using the semester and the double track system. Contact hours is what we all need to be thinking about. Now,
the results of a new clinical trial published in the New England Journal of Medicine show that immediate kangaroo mother care, which involves skin-to-skin contact with the mother and exclusive breastfeeding, started as soon as a preterm or low birth weight baby is born, dramatically improves survival. Current WHO recommendations indicate starting kangaroo mother care only after the baby is stabilized in an incubator or warmer, which can take an average 3 to 7 days. This new study suggests that when compared with the existing practice, starting kangaroo mother care immediately after birth can save up to 150,000 more lives each year. Love FM's Kwesi Deborah has been speaking with the Ghanaian collaborators in this study.
The study planned to include 4,200 infants, but it was stopped early due to clear evidence of benefit on survival. The School of Public Health, KNUST, and the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital were part of this study.
My name is Dr. Jikua Planjul. I'm the head of the mother-baby unit at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital, and I'm also a lecturer in the School of Medicine and Dentistry. The whole idea of kangaroo mother care came about probably 10, 15 years ago. It actually began in a hospital where they didn't have power, and so they decided to put the babies. It was a hospital in South America, and they decided to put the babies close to the mothers, under their, close to the skin, to keep them warm. And they suddenly found that, these babies were surviving. The survival was amazing, and so we began to realize that there was something about putting a baby next to his mother's skin which worked some miracle and caused them to live. And it certainly wasn't just about warmth. So, over the years, lots and lots of research has been done, and it's been found that putting babies in skin-to-skin contact with their mothers, the baby is naked, is put against the mother's bare chest, somehow makes them live. And so it became the norm, it became the practice. There was lots and lots of research done, and it became the practice all over the world that part of the care of the very small baby, the baby who was born too soon or born too small, was to put him next to his mother's skin. But initially, the recommendation was when the baby is born, wait for a few days. When the baby is 2, 3, 4 days old and he's stable, breathing properly, then you can begin putting him in the mother's skin. And as I said, the results were so dramatic. The babies did so well, they could breathe better, their heart rates were better, they had better temperatures, so many things. So then the question came up. But of course, in the first 3, 4 days, whilst we were waiting for these babies to be stable before we would start putting them in skin-to-skin contact, a lot of them died. And so the big question was, if this skin-to-skin way of keeping babies in skin-to-skin contact works such wonders, what would happen if we started earlier? So essentially this study that has been published today was to answer the question, if this is such a good intervention, if we were to start even earlier, in other words, immediately after birth, the baby comes out and then goes into skin-to-skin and stays there as long as possible, would we have an even better outcome? So essentially, the study that was published today in the New England Journal of Medicine was designed to answer that question.
My name is Professor Sam Newton, and I'm the head of the team which organized the study, and I'm also the acting dean of the School of Public Health. What was interesting about this study is these babies were very tiny, and initially we were wondering whether it would work. It was like a proof of concept to see whether if you put very tiny babies close to their mother's chest soon after birth, whether they would do better than when we wait till they are stabilized. And the results showed clearly that they do much better. The bonding is there, and for reasons which are not too clear to us, babies which you would think would not survive actually do better. So it's a good day for us. Now we know that the apprehension which people had about this intervention, seeing that the results have come out in a reputable journal showing that there is much less death or mortality in these children, will be scaled up. And then, of course, it will only be in countries, in developing countries like ours, but also in other developed countries would also take up this intervention, which would really help to save a lot of newborn lives who would otherwise have died.
Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
You're live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Daze. Up next is business. Now in business, the European Union has doled out 145 million euros to support several initiatives in the agri sector, which include the European Union Ghana Agriculture Programme. The aim is to improve living conditions of the people through farming. This was disclosed at the second agribusiness fair and conference organized under the Market-Oriented Agriculture Program in Wa. Joy News Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
The fair and conference provide a platform to participants to exchange views and experience on the challenges and opportunities to enhance the growth of agriculture, to create jobs, particularly to the youth and women. Major stakeholders in the agribusiness sector attended the conference. Others who could not join the program due to certain reasons were linked virtually to the program. European Union Ambassador to Ghana, Dana Okonsia, in a welcome address delivered on her behalf by Deputy Head of Mission Peter Smith Van Yilda, underscored the importance of agriculture in the lives of the people, with particular reference to persons living in the northwestern part of the country.
It reflects also the European Union engagement with the government of Ghana through the ministries to support the sector with no less than 145 million euros through several initiatives, including the EU Agriculture Program in Ghana, EU GAP, of which Moab is a part. Now, our common objective is to improve the quality of life of the communities. In the end, it's about them, about the farmers and their families, who derive most of their income from agriculture.
GIZ Country Director Regina Borosha Barbosa noted that since the establishment of the market-oriented program in the northwestern part of the country, it has made significant strides which has impacted on the lives of the people.
Through established linkages with about 20 small and medium enterprises, Moab Northwest and partners have supported the creation of 1,596 jobs equivalent since 2018. This achievement exceeds the entire project target of 2,000 jobs created by almost 60%. More than 8,000 farmers have benefited from input credits for seed, fertilizer, extension and marketing services, from off-takers for the rice, sorghum, soy, groundnut, mango and vegetable value chains. 208 village savings and loans association groups were formed with its members trained, 85% of whom were women or female members.
Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Afriya Akoto, was represented at the conference by the Director of Policy, Planning and Monitoring, Chumaso Richard Kwesi Ankra.
There is no doubt that the agri sector of Ghana needs to be transformed to trigger the socio-economic development of the nation, to achieve the objective of providing lifeline for millions of households in terms of food and jobs. It is important to note that the ambitious targets of the Sustainable Development Goals, the Malabo Declaration on Accelerated Agricultural Growth, the transformation of shared prosperity and improved livelihoods, and other commitments cannot be achieved if we relent on our efforts.
The fair and conference came to an end with 3 separate panel discussions on climate change, women empowerment, and digitization. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Now, Sustainable Development Goal 17, which focuses on partnership for development and economic growth, received the highest budgetary allocations from the government in the 2020 financial year. This is according to the SDG 2020 report launched by the Ministry of Finance. The report indicates that government spent about 35 million cedis on Agenda 17, whilst Goal 5, which targets gender equality, received the least expenditure. More on this on the marketplace at 1 p.m. That will be all for business. Up next is sports. And that's it for World News. And this is where we wrap up this bulletin of Joy News today. Many thanks for joining us, and throughout the week, for more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. Interesting stories on the homepage. Caregiver arrested for maltreating a baby who died later. Akufo-Addo spent £15,000 per hour on a 10-day foreign travel. Defense Minister to appear before Parliament to clarify Akufo-Addo's alleged extravagant foreign travels. My name is Daniel Daze. Have a great weekend.